Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for this session today on hypnotherapy. I am Dr. Shambhavi Samir Alve, and I am a practicing psychologist. I'm also the founder of Urja Manifest the Light Within. It is a holistic healing studio where we offer mental health related services. Besides, we also offer holistic healing therapies, which include arts based therapy, emotional freedom technique, and clinical hypnotherapy. So now, out of all of these, hypnotherapy is something which kind of intrigues people a lot. It interests a lot, but at the same time, I would say there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of doubts, questions, fears as well, apprehensions related to this particular therapy, right? And of course, we have learned a lot about the term hypnosis, and we have known about it from probably media, or we have just seen it somewhere, read about it, and that is where our misconceptions generally come up from. So today, just to kind of introduce you to what hypnotherapy exactly is all about, and also simultaneously try and burst the myths around this particular therapy. I have with me a therapist, a renowned therapist from Mumbai. She's a practicing hypnotherapist, and also a very, very close friend of mine. So together today we are going to explore this particular field, and let's see whatever comes up. Meanwhile, you are free to ask questions. Please feel free to come up with whatever you want to ask, and we'll try our best to address each of your question. All right. So let me quickly just get our today's guest here, and is Mrs. Sowmiya Vipin joining us from Mumbai today. And we are waiting for Soumya to come on board. And there she is. Good
Hi.
evening, Soumya. Hi. So good to
Good
see you.
evening, Shambhavi. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you pretty clear. Great.
Good, good.
So, how have you been first? Let me begin with that.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good,
Excited.
fantastic. Yeah, super excited. So this is going to be like one of those close, intimate talks where we are also colleagues, but before that, I think we are very close friends. So definitely, this is something which is quite exciting. Right. So let's just quickly get on to our today's topic, hypnotherapy. I'm pretty sure people are more than eager to hear us about, talk about this particular therapy. So the first and foremost, what is hypnotherapy? Let's begin with that, as basic as that.
Okay.
Yeah.
As basic as that.
Yeah.
So, the way I explain hypnotherapy
Mm-hmm.
to any lay person
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
if when you want to experience what is experience of hypnotherapy. So,
Mm-hmm.
simplest thing is just the state before you go off to sleep and just the state when you wake up. And that trance state which is there, that's the feel of what this hypnotherapy sessions are usually.
Mm-hmm.
What is hypnotherapy is you
Yeah.
use hypnosis to
Mm-hmm.
tap
Right.
the subconscious mind, as
Right.
simple as that.
Okay.
Basically, as a therapist, you take a client into an altered state of heightened awareness. That's what we are doing as
Right.
hypnotherapy.
Right.
Uh, Another thing, like I would say while explaining, is what is the difference between cognitive therapy, like
Mm-hmm.
psychotherapy or talk therapy, and
Yeah.
hypnotherapy?
Yeah.
Is cognitive therapy, psychotherapy, they work with the cognitive mind. You are
Right.
thinking, analyzing, and answering the questions, looking at an
Right.
aspect, looking at an angle.
Right.
Whereas with hypnotherapy, you're directly working with the subconscious mind. You're bypassing the conscious mind and
Mm-hmm.
moving into the subconscious mind to
Right.
work with that. That's how I explain it to. all my clients.
Right. So, Amna, if you could just briefly just tell us, like, because these were the terms that you just used, conscious mind and subconscious mind. So, someone who doesn't really come from, the field of, say, hypnotherapy or from the field of mental health, how do we really understand these terms, conscious mind and subconscious mind? Just like, if you could put it across. Yeah.
Sure. So, any our day-to-day activities, everything that we are aware of, what we are in
Mm-hmm.
control of, our logical thinking, our analytical
Right.
thinking, what we can control, that forms part of the conscious mind. So, if you
Right.
take the mind as a big chunk of ice, like the iceberg thing that we usually
Hmm.
use as reference, and there's the
Right.
tip of the iceberg. So,
Right.
conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg,
Right.
and that's like 10% of the entire
Hmm.
mind spectrum. And the remaining 90%, which is submerged under water, that
Hmm.
is your subconscious mind, which is 6,000 times bigger and
Hmm.
more powerful, and
Hmm.
it is a storehouse of all your experiences and memories and all the involuntary things which happens, like your heartbeat, your breathing, things that you
Right.
cannot control,
Right.
emotions, uh, things that don't make sense. They're all part of the subconscious mind. So that's
Right.
the basic difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The
R-
logical part
yeah.
of the mind which works, and the,
Mm-hmm.
if I can say, illogical part of the mind that works, the subconscious. Yeah.
Okay. That just brings me to another question. Why do we really need to work with the subconscious and not the conscious? Because we also, like you mentioned it, how the other therapies, like the psychotherapies, generally what we also call as talk therapies, most of them also deal with the conscious mind. So what and where does that need to really work on the subconscious mind come in from? Like why? Why do we need it?
So when we are working with the conscious mind, you are you are aware of what you are saying, and you may be
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, what I'm is, and you question yourself also, am what I'm feeling, is it real or not? There are a lot of logical steps that happens when you are dealing with the conscious mind,
Right.
and yes, you do get results. You do
Right.
get
Right.
results. You will be more aware of your problem, of an issue, whatever it is.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
when you go into the subconscious mind, you are accessing parts of yourself that you're not
Hmm.
even aware of. You
Right.
probably forgotten,
Hmm.
probably repressed because of
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
trauma or something.
Hmm.
And uh, addressing those parts is what helps in complete healing.
Right.
So
Right.
it is not like the conscious mind is not working at that point of time.
Mm-hmm.
The subconscious mind will bring things up into your
Right.
consciousness, and
Right.
then because you're aware of it, so now you start working on those aspects which before this therapy probably you weren't aware of. That's
Right.
why this helps,
Right. So
if
it
that
it has
answers.
been probably it has been a part of our existence, if I could call it. And through hypnosis,
Yes,
all we do is we tap into something which we did not, we weren't very consciously aware of, but during
right.
hypnosis, it just kind of surfaces,
Comes up,
right? Yes.
comes up.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Great. Great.
surfaces
Great.
up.
Right. So, I have a question here from one of our viewers. The question is, can anybody control the subconscious spectrum? This is one of the viewer has asked this question for you. Yeah.
Anybody, as in the client or the therapist? So, okay, I'll
What
answer
I'm
from.
yeah. So I'm assuming as a client. So anybody like a random person, can they control the subconscious spectrum? So what I'm assuming is, can an individual control his or her own subconscious spectrum?
Control is a word which doesn't apply to subconscious, if I can be frank.
Yeah.
And what we see during therapy is what comes up or what
Hmm.
is experienced is what
Hmm.
the client needs to know at that point of time.
Absolutely
So
right.
again, at a certain level, yes, the control lies with the client because of
Hmm.
his readiness, his or her readiness to be aware of a particular situation or issue, whatever it is.
Right.
And the therapist is not controlling the client. The
Right.
therapist is only a facilitator. So
Absolutely. Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's the client who is in the driver's seat. The therapist is the navigator. That's one way of
Right.
looking at
Right.
it.
Right. So Yes, yes. I hope that answers your question of the control aspect, which was asked to us. Right. So now, because we are talking so much about using hypnosis for the purpose of therapy, I think it is a very right time to bring this, thought or addressing this thought, how hypnotherapy is basically different from, say, stage hypnosis. Because even when, like if I have to talk about my own self, before I came into this particular field, or when I thought of getting trained for hypnotherapy, I think this was the common understanding that I even had towards hypnosis. Like, oh, this is what we have seen, so how they just kind of swing that watch or something in front of you, and
Pendulum.
then and
Yeah.
then yeah, and the pendulum, and then you're like zoned out to some different world altogether. I'm sure there are a lot of people who also hold a very similar belief, that is this what hypnosis is going to be like, or therapy is also going to be like. So I really want you to bring in that clarity about, is there a difference between stage hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and two, if there is, how do we really distinguish between two of them?
So stage hypnosis is for entertainment value.
Mm-hmm.
And hypnotherapy, there is the word therapy attached to it. So
Hmm.
you're using a powerful tool to access the subconscious
Hmm.
mind to seek therapy, or, like you say, cure a particular issue, problem, or whatever. So that's the main thing. And
Right.
again, one of the main thing is you look into someone's eyes. If they come to Nama hypnotherapy,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my God, let me cover my eyes." No, it doesn't work that way.
Yes.
That's not how it works. So
Yeah.
uh, that's the main thing with stage hypnosis. It's for entertainment purpose. It
Hmm.
is real, it is working for what purpose it is for, that is entertainment.
Right.
And with hypnotherapy, it is again a very structured process,
Right. Right.
which you, and in a safe environment.
Hmm.
The main thing is you make the client feel that yes, it's everything that is going to happen is for their benefit. So,
Right.
and then you work towards the
Right.
end goal.
Right. Right.
uh,
Right.
that's not how stage hypnosis probably would be. It's just a few laughs.
Right. So what I understand from this explanation is also one, that the intention and the willingness that your client actually brings into a therapeutic setup will be very, very important, right? When you use hypnosis for therapeutic purpose,
Yes, so
right?
willingness is very
Yeah.
important. uh, the free will aspect does come into play. So if there is
Hmm. Hmm.
resistance, you
Right.
have resistance, then you may not find total complete benefit of the therapy. You
Right.
may find difficulty into going into a trance, or you may
Yes.
not experience what you had come in, because there's so much of resistance. So you're, because
Right.
your free will is not allowing you to experience that, or you're just not ready for it right now. If you're not ready for it,
Right.
no one can force you into it.
Right.
So that
Right.
willingness
Right.
matters a lot.
And this willingness is a part of the conscious mind, right?
The willingness is part of the conscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So even, okay, so if someone has a little doubt whether it will work for me or not,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they come in for therapy,
Hmm.
even if they have 10% willingness that I'm ready to try it out, this
Right.
will work for them.
Right. Right.
This will work for them. So that
Hmm.
willingness, yes, your conscious mind is saying, but more importantly, your subconscious mind is ready to know more, to let you know more. That's how
Right.
it works.
Right.
I would just say that for someone to understand it,
Hmm.
you understand it best.
Okay. I had lost you for a couple of seconds. So you understand it best with? Have her back. You there?
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Sowmiya?
I can't hear you. Just give.
I have you back.
Hello.
Yeah, I can see you. You're there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can. I can. Perfect. Go ahead.
You're very soft. Just give me a moment.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Clear. Am I audible?
Just one moment.
Oh,
Let me
yes,
just
I know.
reconnect this.
Yeah, 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 no problem. Take your time. Take your time. So I am just going to quickly kind of revise till then. Okay. So till now we have spoken about one, that is your conscious mind and subconscious mind, because these are some words that we as therapists use like way too much. So it's very, very important that you understand there's a difference between your conscious and your subconscious. When you undergo a hypnotherapy or a trance, what we are working on is your subconscious mind and not your conscious mind. Secondly, hypnotherapy is definitely different from what we generally see on television, or say what we call as stage hypnosis. So these are two different ways to deal with it. Two different therapy. I wouldn't call it stage hypnosis a therapy, but yeah, they are two different things. When we talk about hypnosis in context of a therapy, we call it as hypnotherapy, and it is always oriented towards a certain issue. So we do not really just play around with it, like, I'm curious, I want to see how it happens, just trial karte hai. It doesn't work that way, okay? So for hypnotherapy, we always ask a client, only if the problem is real, please come up with it. Otherwise, there is no fun element to it, no curiosity killing business out there, right? All right, so great. I have Sowmiya back here with a new
Yes.
headphone, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Murphy's
all
Law.
right, great. So before we, no problem. So before we actually went off for some time, there was one question which had come up. Let's take that, okay? So the question is, what if you are aware of the situation, but are unable to control it or bring a change? That's the question.
Okay. Okay. So that's
Yeah.
the beauty of a lot of cognitive therapy also. You become aware of the situation, but you are unable to do anything
Right.
about it. So hypnotherapy is
Hmm.
not magic. It will make you aware of whatever your issues are. You can
Hmm.
do affirmations, you can do self hypnosis to have new patterns, new habits in place. But you have to practice it as well. You have to work with your conscious mind as well. So it's
Hmm.
a powerful tool. It is not a magic pill.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
will help you become aware. It will help you figure out
Right.
how you can be more strong, but consciously you
Hmm.
need to put in an effort to see the change. Yes, the change will be more stronger and permanent than just what result you get from cognitive
Hmm.
therapy. But yes, you do
Right.
need to put in the work. So even though you can't control what is happening, that's because maybe you're not doing the work. So if you do the
Right.
work, you will bring about a change.
Okay. So, ma'am, can you just elaborate this a little more with probably an example, or say even a case study, something? I think that would give some more clarity here, where you have used hypnotherapy.
So, okay, for simplest thing is with students as well who are unable to concentrate. Okay, so you
Okay.
can do
Right.
hypnotherapy to place in suggestions where they will, like simple things like you place your hand over your eyes and you say that when I will open my eyes, I will be more focused and I'll be able to concentrate better. Okay, so this
Right.
is a trigger that you're giving to your subconscious mind. You're
Right.
telling
Right. Right.
yourself, every time I do this,
Right.
my concentration and my focus will
Right.
improve, will enhance.
Right.
So this
Right.
is something that you've done in hypnotherapy. But
Right.
if you don't study, how are you ever going to focus? And even when you're studying, you need to do this over and over again so that your
Right.
mind now knows that this
Right.
action means
Right.
that I have to focus, I have to concentrate. You know,
Right. Right.
this
Right. Right.
this is a very simple example.
Right.
And if you
So,
don't do this, then you will not get your result.
right. So what I
You
understand
have to
is
work.
when we have, say, a client, say probably a child or an adolescent who is having issues with probably attention or is not able to better concentrate on studies. So what we do is we induce hypnosis. So we induce a trance first, and
Yeah,
during the trance we give them suggestions. So it's a process, right? It's a
yeah,
process that we follow. And once the
yeah,
child is there, we kind of put this trigger, the one that you beautifully showed us right now. So this could be one of
yeah.
the triggers. There could be a lot of
One of the
different
triggers.
triggers, right?
Anything,
Yeah,
anything. Yes, anything.
absolutely. So that is like you are conditioning your subconscious with that
You're
trigger, right?
conditioning. Yes.
Perfect,
And
fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
as you must be aware too, that to
Huh.
set a new pattern, you practice it for 21 days to make a new
Right,
neuro pathway. And
right.
when you do practice it, you will see
Yeah,
a change. If you
yes.
don't practice it, then you won't see a
Right,
change.
right.
So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me add just another thing to that. This is something, okay, this is something new that I have learned, all right? So it takes 21 days to have this new neural pathway, and it takes 90 days. So
90
it is,
days.
yeah, it takes 90 days, 3 months for this neural pathway to get, it kind of gets established there.
It
So
becomes a habit. Yeah.
yes. So
A
by
lifestyle, if
21,
you can say
yeah. So
so.
by the 22nd day, it very much becomes a part of you, like you want to look forward to it. But it takes 90
Yes.
days where it has become such an integral part that now you can't just go without it. So that is something what
Yeah.
I think I should have shared here. I just came across this lately, okay? Right. So we have another question here, Soumya. Can we use this asking learners to do and give such commands? Okay, so this question has come from Sneha ma'am. She because I know her, she's an educator. She teaches students. So I'm sure she's asking in context of her students whether she can use this command with them. Yeah, Soumya, would you want to answer that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what. So, yes, you can take the students under a hypnotic trance and
yeah.
place the positive suggestions,
Hmm.
give them the triggers like one of or anything. If or the child finds it easy, which will
Right.
help them figure out this is what means that I should focus and concentrate. And after you
Hmm.
do that, you can give them an audio
Hmm.
tape that they can listen to again for 21 days. So few
Right.
homework they need to do, and if they follow that, there will be an improvement in for them when it comes to studying. So
Hmm.
yes,
Hmm. Hmm.
you can teach them to
Right.
learners. Yes.
Right. So I think the first step would be to actually use a hypnotic trance where you first condition, like that. That's what you had explained earlier
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you
So
have to
it's
really
if you
bring it, yeah. Hmm.
So, just to bring in another point that, okay, so a child is
Hmm. Hmm.
unable to focus or something, but there may be
Hmm.
something more to it. Why? The why. Why are they unable to focus?
Hmm.
So, as therapists, we also
Right.
tackle the why. Is there some
Perfect.
worry
Yeah.
or has something happened?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
take away before you put in a new pattern, a new habit, you heal the part which is unable to do this, which is unable to
Right.
focus. So you heal that
Right.
first, and then you move ahead with setting a new pattern, setting a new belief. That's
Right. Right.
the
Right.
thing,
Right. Yeah.
ideal way to
Yeah.
go about it.
Great, great. I hope that has answered Sneha's question. Okay, there's this another question for you, Soumya. Uh, does this therapy helps us in long term in a positive way? And does this process require session interval times? All right. So there are two parts to it. Yeah. So let's go with the first one. Does this therapy help us in
Does it
long
help?
term in a positive way? Yeah.
Yes, it does help in a long term in positive way. So you can change your belief systems, like I am
Hmm.
not good enough. You can
Hmm.
change that.
Hmm.
Where does it originate from? Why do you believe that?
Hmm.
Changing it into I am the best.
Hmm.
Life is easy for me. Setting in these are of course
Right.
something which will help you in the long term.
Right.
And the way then you start looking at life also changes. The way how you
Absolutely.
approach a situation changes,
Hmm.
and that's
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
it becomes better. The
Right.
change is from the within, like deep within your subconscious mind. You're changing a lot
Hmm.
of things, and that's why the results are far more visible in your day-to-day lives. That's
Right.
what. What's the
Yes.
second part of the question?
Okay. Yes. So the second part says, and does this process require session interval times?
As in multiple sessions, I'm guessing that's what it means.
Yeah, it could also be multiple, and also what I understand it. Oh, okay, talk about both this as well as how much time do you require between the interval between two sessions?
So, okay, usually there is like one session a week, or in case there's an emergency or the person needs more than two sessions per week. For
Right.
any issue that a client comes in with,
Hmm.
say
Hmm.
5 to 6 sessions should be good enough. So
Right.
now, before you come to any therapist, and hypnotherapist is probably the last person you go to, you have
Yes.
celebrated so many birthdays, and you have so
Right.
much baggage, maybe, and you
Hmm.
choose to
Hmm.
come with one issue, probably. So
Right.
when you meet the therapist, they are working with you on that one issue, which may take five to
Right.
six sessions.
Right.
If you, and there will be difference in that aspect, and
Hmm.
after some time you feel that okay, now I feel good about myself, but now I want to probably have I don't know, get fear of heights, get rid of my
Yeah.
fear of heights, so
Hmm.
that's another
Hmm.
issue. So then you come back and then again you work with it another 5 to 6 sessions, depends, one thing
Hmm.
at a time, whatever the client needs. So
Right.
it takes time,
Hmm.
and see what is important for you at that point of time and work with that. I hope that
Right,
answers it.
right. Yes, yes, pretty much, I guess. Um, so we are talking about one, the long-term effect, because again, I think that that is where the entire element of subconscious comes, right? Whatever you put into the subconscious, and once you start working with subconscious, it is something which has a long-lasting effect. That's where the rationale
Right.
comes up, right? Okay, we have
Yes.
one more question here. Do these commands help one actually believe in the words? That is the first part of it. And the second is, how does it help at a subconscious level? All right. So these are the two questions. Hmm.
So if you want to put in a positive suggestion, it's not the therapist that is making a script. It is the client who will give the words what he or she is comfortable with, what they want to be, put in as a message. And
Right.
ideally, you work with positive words,
Hmm.
empowering words, and
Hmm.
make a script. Both of the client and the therapist can work together, make a script,
Hmm.
and then put
Hmm.
in the suggestions. So yes, it works in on the subconscious level, a deeper level, because you're in the
Right.
hypnotic trance.
Right. 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 So I think that also answers something more, right here, Samya. What I feel is all these resistances that we generally hold, even though there are times when the client wants to make some changes. So now we are talking about the words that the client wants us to really make use of while we are giving them suggestions. A lot of these times, the client wants these words to be used. They want this affirmation to be used, but still they would be like, I'm using this affirmation for a long, long time, and it still doesn't work for me. I think that is where we talk about these resistances coming up from, and the resistances are somewhere a part of your conscious mind, right? And once you start working with these
But
resistances, that
it's
is where you're
something
working
that's
with your subconscious, and
spoken
you try
about.
to bring out these blocks, right? That is where it starts working. That's how I understand it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think
Huh.
you had shared a post a few days ago which spoke about this exactly, that before you try to
Yes.
a new affirmation, remove the old beliefs out completely. Where are this resistance stemming from?
Right.
Understand
Right.
it, remove it, and then put in something new. That is
Right.
more effective.
Absolutely. So it is very, very important to work on your belief system. While we do that, even during our talk therapy, we do it even with other psychotherapies. But like because we are doing both of these, we are doing the therapies and we're also doing hypnotherapy. I think hypnotherapy just adds a little more pace to it, right? So the kind of
Yes,
results that we
yes.
generally get is quicker as compared to the other therapies that
Faster.
we do. That is all
Much
how I look
faster.
at it as, right? Right. So there's
It
another
is, it
part to
is.
this question which is like, how does it help at a subconscious level?
These affirmations, how
Yes,
these affirmations
yes,
help at a
right.
subconscious level.
Yes,
So what
yes.
the affirmations do, as in when you do the affirmations for the
Hmm,
set number of days, 21 days and
hmm,
everything, you're
hmm.
building those new neuro pathways, you know,
Right,
and those pathways get built in your subconscious. And when you keep doing
right.
it for 21 days, it slowly becomes a fabric of your system, of your belief system.
Hmm,
That's what
hmm, hmm.
happens. And
Right,
that's the
right.
result you see.
Right. So that is where the affirmations will start working actually. So there's the difference.
Working.
Again, we're talking about that you could be saying these affirmations to yourself, but if the underlying belief is so strong that this doesn't work for me or this affirmation, it doesn't really sync with your beliefs, it is never going to come true for you. It's something like that, right? So the first thing that you
True.
need to do is first work on that belief, work on those resistances, and then probably start using the affirmations, right?
And what we also
Yeah.
do in our sessions is we
Hmm.
teach the client self hypnosis.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's in this self hypnosis where
Hmm.
we are teaching the clients how to open up the subconscious mind and
Hmm.
then place in these affirmations. It's not as simply as just writing it down or just saying it. No,
Right.
you are teaching the client how to open the subconscious and then place in the affirmations. That's why it's working more effectively.
Right, 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 right. So it's like even after the session that they have with us, there will be these consecutive sessions which they are having with their own selves, right? Where they're doing homeworks. When
Yes,
they go home, they are supposed to
yes,
do something, right?
yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes,
So there is, again, it's like the two-way partnership that they're having with us, right? So some role the therapist
yes.
has, and the other side of the story is with the client. Perfect. All
Client,
right.
yes.
So let me come back to another question. This is from me again for you. Because a lot of these times I get this question from my client. I'm pretty sure even you might be getting this. So the strong fear or the apprehension about undergoing a hypnotic trance is, what if I get stuck there and you do not you kind of leave me there and you come out. So especially with these these online sessions, this is a lot of time they come over this fear of, what if you're doing it online and your network goes off or the phone battery dies? Will I be left in some other world and I will be there till you come back again? So yeah, I think that's a very, very prevalent and very
That's
yeah, we come
it's a
across this
valid
question, right?
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
because for someone who hasn't experienced it, it's a natural fear. What
Yeah,
is unknown for the mind is fearful. So,
absolutely.
getting out of a trance is as
Hmm.
simple as opening your eyes. You open your eyes and you're out of the trance. So you are
Right.
never, if something of this sort happens where
Hmm.
the battery dies or the network disconnects or something, you
Right.
are always aware of what is happening
Hmm.
even during a trance. You
Right.
have your will with you. You are
Hmm.
aware of what you are saying as well. You will not be revealing any secrets, your bank passwords. No, that doesn't happen because your
Yes.
subconscious mind always is trying to protect you.
Right.
So even when in the trance, it will show you what you're ready to see. It
Hmm.
will, guide you to a level where it is comfortable at a point of time. And if
Right.
it's too uncomfortable, you can just open your eyes and you're out of the trance.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's
So
not scary.
Yes. So I also understand by this that we basically, when we induce trance, uh, it is very much a part of you that you're accessing. So basically, it's not about you traveling anywhere. You were very much there. You were just kind
Yeah.
of diving within. So the entire logic of what if I go somewhere and I get stuck there, it is totally invalid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because it's, you are traveling within your mind,
Absolutely
and your
right.
mind, and there's so much about the mind that we don't know. And you may,
True.
we travel to a past life sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
our answers to our problems in this life, nothing makes sense, and something
Right.
in the past life makes sense, and you go
Yes.
there. But it's only going a deep dive, like a deep,
Right.
deep, deep dive into your own mind. You're not going physically anywhere. And
Right.
wherever you go, you have to remember, open your eyes and you're out of it. You're back to the here and now.
Right, right. So Dolly says you're just visiting your old days, which you wish didn't happen. Yeah, Dolly, actually. But subconsciously, consciously, you're not able to get that thing registered. Subconsciously, I think it just gets registered, like how to take that memory, maybe heal that memory, not really take it out, but you just go and heal that part, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
Soumya,
face it,
huh, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
just you face it and you
Hmm,
release it. That's what you do.
absolutely.
You let it
Right,
go,
right,
and
right.
which makes you feel better.
Beautiful. So, because you have referred to past life, I'm definitely going to touch upon that topic now. But before we go there, we have another question from Mr. Amit. The question is, under hypnosis, do people answer truthfully to the questions you ask? So that's his question.
Truthfully, to who? As in, who does it matter to? So this is something that, whether you come for psychotherapy or hypnotherapy, whichever therapy you go for. So the truth only matters to yourself, the client. You can tell
Hmm.
the therapist anything you want, but you have come for healing, you are looking for something, then you might as well use that time to,
Hmm.
say what is more real for you. So if you feel you're not saying the truth, then the question is the truth so difficult that you cannot face it?
Hmm.
You are not healing. You are the one who is, not getting closure probably. For the therapist,
Right.
they are just there as a guide, as a facilitator.
Hmm.
So it is again everything with the mind. The mind, if it's not comfortable going to that
Hmm.
part, then the mind will not reveal anything. The
Right.
subconscious will
Right.
not reveal anything.
Right, right. And also I feel again, if I have to look at Amit's question again, I think again when we talk about whether the client is being truthful or no, all these resistances again are a part of conscious mind, right? The way we spoke earlier about this. So
Yeah,
generally these judgments, whether if I reveal this truth about me, what will the therapist think about me? So all these judgment parts and everything is a part of your conscious mind, which is very much in a relaxed state and takes a back seat when you are under trance. So even though your
true.
conscious mind is viewing it, but may not really interfere in the process, and that is where I think your subconscious is an open book, so it just comes up with whatever needs to be healed at that moment, right? And
Absolutely,
again, this
absolutely.
is
Yeah.
where this is different from psychotherapy. That's a very, very important aspect where the differentiation part comes into place, right?
True,
Okay,
true, absolutely.
Soumya, let's quickly come to the past life thing, yeah, because you mentioned it. So now I really want to touch upon that topic. Past life regression. Okay, first, does it exist? Let's start from there.
For now, like
The past life regression, is it true?
for
Hmm.
past life, it exists because your mind says it's true for you. So there may be a person, or with certain beliefs, for them past life don't matter. So we are not here to
Hmm.
challenge anyone's beliefs,
Right.
no. But when you're under therapy, and if you go to a time which you haven't
Right.
experienced in this life,
Hmm.
so basically what you're doing is you're
Hmm.
watching a story unfold in which you are the main character. So you
Right.
call it as
Right.
past life. You can do that, yes.
Hmm.
So past life exists then, and then you watch it
Right.
unfold and you see what is happening
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
understand how it relates to your life right now. That's where the connection is.
Hmm.
What you are going through, there's a connection of what you're going through now and
Right.
what you have experienced at some point of time in some other life,
Right.
and you learn from that.
Right.
So that's what happens.
Right, right. So we have a comment from Shavya which says if you are comfortable with your therapist, the conscious mind won't or may not interfere. Would you want to comment on this, Soumya?
If you're comfortable with your therapist, your conscious mind will not interfere.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think so. Because it's each particular client. Now they have their own suggestibilities, which is another technical term that we put it. A person who is very more of the thinking logical type, they may always be even thinking during trance. And as a
Right.
therapist, you have to keep telling them, don't think, just
Right.
say the first thing.
Yes.
So it has nothing to do with the level of comfort and the conscious mind interfering. I don't think there's a correlation to that.
Right, right,
It's just how a
right.
person is.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I think just if I have to look at the first part of the comment, being comfortable with your therapist, I think that becomes again a very, very integral part of a therapist-client relation. The rapport building has to
Yeah.
happen. In absence of rapport, nothing will happen. I think that's a very crucial part of, say, psychotherapies or hypnotherapy for that matter. It's a very, very integral. Like if you can't do that, I really don't see even the client giving up on the resistances to undergo trance, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
right,
So
right. Huh.
that's what. So
Uh,
the relation between the therapist and the client establishes. It's you only come to a therapist if you're comfortable. You'll come once. If you're uncomfortable, you won't come back again.
Absolutely,
Simple.
right, right. And
And
also in the
even though
first
you
session, they get healed also at times. Also, then they do not come up.
sometimes, yes,
Yes, yes, they
yes,
do,
that also
definitely do.
happens.
Right. So, do we have any minimum age and maximum age who can undergo hypnotherapy, Soumya?
There's no minimum age or maximum age because okay, for generally the child as such they should understand language, what you're
Right.
saying, the commands and everything,
Yeah.
to undergo hypnotherapy. But in
Right.
case there is a issue with the child, and
Right.
if the child has to seek hypnotherapy, the
Hmm.
mother can be the surrogate for the child. So you
Right.
do the therapy for the mother on behalf of the child, and
Great.
that works as well. It shows great results as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we had a question from one of the audience where the 6-month-old doesn't sleep. So can I train the child through hypnotherapy? I think in that case, Mama should take therapy for what is really bothering her, right? That would probably help.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That
All right.
expectations can be
Yeah.
set aligned, and yeah, expectations can be aligned, and then
Yes.
children listen easily. You can just tell them, it's all okay, go
Yeah.
to sleep.
Right, and I think even children are more suggestible at times, I feel, as compared to
Oh, yes.
adults, right? I think the
Yes, they're
resistances
very
haven't really
suggestive.
built as yet.
No, no, no. So, in fact, I have the most fun working with children
Yes.
because it's amazing to see them under therapy, and you'll be like every
Right.
time you'll be like, wow, what a great session. You are like,
Yeah.
wow. The
Yeah,
child, it's
I'm
like
sure. Right. So they bring in a lot of insight to the therapy setup, even for a therapist at times,
yes,
I feel, right?
yes, 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 yes.
Great, great.
So,
All right. So, yes, go ahead.
the reason children are so susceptible or
Hmm.
easily going into trance is because their critical filter, which we say, is not developed till the age of 8. So every one of us has a filter which
Yeah.
we call it the critical filter, which is the how you distinguish a conscious mind and the subconscious mind. There is a filter in between, which allows your basically filters out what needs to go into the subconscious mind and controls what needs to go up and all those things, a
Right.
little more technical. But
Right.
yeah, so your social background, your economic background, your
Hmm.
cultural background, religious background, these are the things that help build the filter.
Right.
And for a child till the age of 8 and everything, it's not built, and that's why they're so easy to take in everything. There are no judgments, there are no
Right.
defenses formed as such. They don't have those things in place yet, so that's why it's
Right.
easier to work with children at that point of time.
Right. And that
Doesn't work
also goes to say that before the age of 8, any experience that the child is going to have is directly going to the subconscious because there's no critical
directly
filter,
going to, yes,
right? So the
yes,
early life
yes,
experiences are kind of going to shape the beliefs, the perception that they have towards themselves, about with towards others. All of this is going directly to the subconscious, right? So the early years become very,
true,
very crucial there. Right. So Dolly
yes.
has a comment there. Children don't have any preconceived notions, so they are like clean slates. Yeah, exactly, Dolly. I think that's what Soumya just reworded in a different way, but yes, that's so true. So by the time they start growing from the 8 to their teens, that is where I think all these the societal norms, ethics, all of that comes into place, which starts shaping their belief system on totality, right? Also, Seema has a
And just to add,
question. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
it's not just the said word that impacts the child.
Oh
It
yes,
is also, yeah, the non-verbal communication cues in the
true.
environment that affects. So
Definitely, definitely.
that
Right,
also is
right.
absorbed
That's
by the
so
subconscious
true,
mind.
true, true,
Yeah.
Soumya. Seema, we have a question from Seema. How to control aggression of kid of 2 years?
So, like we mentioned just now, that
Hmm.
whether the child understands the language.
Right.
So if the child is not understanding the language, then the mother becomes the surrogate for the child, and you take the mother through the therapy
Right.
process to
Right.
understand why the child is doing it in the first place.
Right.
And then
Right.
you guide the mother through the process. So
Yes.
how, in a way, we help her child.
Perfect. Right. Right.
So we come up with the reasons why this is happening.
Right, absolutely. I think Seema, that should answer your question. Also, we have a comment from Shravya which says, kids are super imaginative and it's beautiful to have sessions with them. Oh, yes, Shravya. I agree on that. And yeah, Soumya, do you have a comment on that?
This, they are super imaginative, and yes, it works beautifully on them.
Yeah, I
I
think they're very
agree
good at
to.
visualization, right? So a lot of adults
Yeah, yeah,
can't, but children can, yes. They visualize really well. Yeah.
very well.
There is also another question, which is hypnosis ever a one session quick fix for a problem?
I don't think hypnosis is a quick fix. It is
Yeah.
a more permanent fix, yes. So,
Hmm.
one session will give you some insight, and some people do feel a lot of difference, a lot of improvement that
Yes.
they experience just with one session.
Yes.
It may not have covered everything, because in an hour, that's how long a session usually is. In an hour, how much will you cover?
Hmm. Hmm.
And a person has got so many layers, like an
Right.
onion, if an analogy to put it. So
Hmm.
you do find results.
Hmm.
For complete results, a couple of sessions help better.
Yeah.
So it's not a quick fix. You have to invest time. You have to have your homeworks also, work on yourself consciously to see a more beautiful permanent result.
Absolutely. Right. So, if I could reword that, you definitely need more sessions to have a complete closure to the issue. But there are times
Yeah,
when, yes, the relief can be way too much, too overwhelming in the first session itself. And that is where I
right.
think a lot of dropouts also happen. That is how I have experienced it, where the first session gives them like so much of what do we say, they feel so liberated from the issue
Feel good,
that they are
yes.
like, okay, I am done with this. I'm not coming again, right? That happens. Definitely happens a lot of time. So there's another question as well as a comment from Ramya. I practice EFT on my baby, but does it work best when you know what the issue is? Yeah, that's what she's asking.
So it with babies, or when you're working with a baby,
Hmm.
babies can't speak, you
Right.
can't express for a long time, and
Yeah.
it's, as a mother, you feel is the one who can probably understand the child best. So
Yeah.
trust your intuition. If you feel that this is what the baby is feeling uncomfortable about, then it is true. You work with that then, or just
Right.
whatever it is, use the word saying that, my baby, even though my baby is feeling uncomfortable and I don't know why. So you need not know the issue. Go
Hmm.
with your gut, go with your instincts, and it will work. Just have faith in yourself as a mother that yes, you're doing the best, and just so much is enough for the child to feel better.
Right, right. I hope that answers your question, Ramya. And there's also another point that I would want to add here is EFT in general, even if you're not using it as a part of hypnotherapy to come to the core issues, and I mean, that is how we use it. But irrespective of whether you're using EFT with hypnotherapy or no, I think in general, you can just be tapping on your child, because that is connected to the meridian system of your body. And when you do that, there is a lot of times you will see a lot of physical issues being resolved there and then. So even if there is some uneasiness or restlessness the child is feeling, definitely, even though the child can't express, it can definitely have an impact on the physical health. So this is like my personal experience that I'm sharing with you. EFT can be done with any age group. It absolutely works miraculously with everyone, right? All right.
We'll
So
have to have another session about what is EFT.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. So for all those who just went blank, what are we talking about? EFT. Oh yeah, we have a question there. So what is EFT? EFT is emotional freedom technique, which is also called as tapping. And let's see. Surely we'll come back soon with another live session just to understand what is EFT and where all can we use EFT. All right. So we do use it as a part of hypnotherapy at times, but we also use it otherwise, like completely independent of hypnotherapy. But we'll definitely come back with EFT soon, right? We have one more question here, Sowmiya. How many sessions is usually required in hypnosis?
So, firstly, it depends on the issue which is there. But ideally,
Right.
4 to 5 sessions are good enough to resolve an issue. For addictions, particularly, there are a set number of sessions that are required. That 5 to 6 sessions are required for resolving an addiction issue. But apart from that, any other issue, you may require, if 4 is the number, so maybe extra 2, maybe that's good enough. Depending also on how deep or how bad the issue or the trauma is. If there is lot of resistance on part of the client, then you require a few more sessions. But the time invested is worth worth it. The results are worth it.
I'm definitely sure of that. So
Even the money invested is worth it.
Oh yes, I'm going to come to that part now. So yes, it is completely a subjective experience. That's how I look at it. So there is no fixed solution which works for everyone when it comes to hypnotherapy, or for that matter, even psychotherapy, I guess, because we generally give them a relative number. So it should be anywhere between 8 and 10. That is how we look at psychotherapies. Definitely with hypnotherapy, it works quicker, as we say. So there's a high possibility that the issue might be resolved, or there would be a closure coming in at maybe 4 or 5 sessions, but there's always up and down there, because I think with the first session there's a lot of different clarity which might come over to even to the client, so which they might not be knowing till then, right? So that is where the entire element of subjectivity comes into place, right? So we have another question. What is the gap between each session?
Usually 1 week. A week is good enough, unless there is an emergency or something, or there is a time shortage for the client, they have to travel or something. You try to do 2 sessions or something. So why the gap, if I say so? It's the way I look at it is that time is there for the client to probably reflect on what happened, implement whatever they have learned, practice it, because that time gives them enough time to practice, to cover, to experience a change. And when they come back, they know what is different, or what else they seek. So that's why the time is important.
Right. Great. And there's another question. What if I think the issue was resolved through therapy, but I feel it relapsed?
If the issue is resolved from therapy and if it's relapsed, so question is, have you finished the entire thing, course of therapy completely? Did you follow all the suggestions or pointers that were given? Did you work consciously on all those points as well? Like, the homeworks that we spoke about and everything. Because the work is not just that 1 hour. The actual work is after you move out of that room and how you practice what
Right.
you have learned.
Right.
That is where
Right.
you see the results. That is
Right.
what happens.
Yes.
And if you've not completed the session, if you've not done the homework, then there may be a relapse. Yes, of course, because simple as the, when you're doing a de-addiction case, the first thing is you say is you do not smoke, you do not drink. If you go back to that, yes, you will be addicted again. So
Right.
you have to do your part as a client and you will see results. The therapist
Right.
is doing their part.
Right, right, right. And also, if I could add there, Kritika, I think the question was by Kritika. Yes, Kritika, I think, to look at it is try to bring in the connection between or compare your body and your mind, okay? So say, for instance, I had a fall and probably I broke my bone, and now I get a plaster done, it healed, and maybe 10 years down the line, what if I just again go and bruise myself? So we don't generally ask that question to ourselves, right? Why did I bruise myself again? We generally say like, okay, I fell again, so I had a bruise there. There's a wound. So in the similar way, there are a lot of times when emotionally, mentally, psychologically, you undergo therapies, you heal yourself, you're absolutely fine. But something happens, an incident happens, something, because you can't really control people and situations around you. So there are times when you might experience something similar and you might have a relapse. So it's okay. I mean, you can be slow on yourself. So what you do in a relapse situation, seek therapy again. Just the way you go again for treating your wound, go again, seek therapy. That's it. It's pretty simple there. Okay, so yeah, I think that should also answer to some extent. We have a question from Amit. Can hypnosis help me to stop smoking and drinking alcohol? Yeah.
So yes, it can help you with smoking and drinking alcohol. You have to, the only thing required over here is the commitment that you will not touch a drink or smoke or anything during the course of the therapy. And again, like even for when you join any de-addiction program, they ask you to give it up. Okay, so why does a person smoke or drink in the first place? What void are they trying to fill? That is what you're finding, understanding, and healing in the hypnotherapy session. And you find your answers. You feel more confident. You feel the void covered. It's gone and everything. So it does help in your de-addiction process. It does help it. But conscious effort is not to smoke or drink, because then again you've not completed probably your during the therapy period, especially you don't go back to those things, because then you won't get complete results, proper results.
And I think when it comes to alcohol, when it comes to addictions, I think the commitment has to be like 200%, if I could say that, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Much more conscious effort is required.
Yes.
The feeling that I want to do it, that will definitely reduce. It will definitely reduce. But again, it's a conscious choice, not to pick up a cigarette or to pick up a drink. It's a conscious choice. You don't make that choice. That's all.
Right, right. Great. I hope that answers your question, Amit. We have another question. Does hypnosis help in anger management? That's the first part. Then, or will it be like a permanent fix? Third, what are the steps we have to follow usually? Is it like meditation or affirmations? Yeah.
So
Let's go
yes,
with the first one.
hypnosis
Yeah.
helps in anger management. Yes, it does. And it will be a permanent fix, because we are trying to understand that why are you getting angry in the first place. Anger is also a defense mechanism. So if you're getting angry, why are you using that as a defense mechanism, as a coping mechanism? What are you trying to hide or shield or protect yourself from? We are fixing that. And because we are fixing that, it becomes a permanent fix. Once that is understood, that is resolved, yes, you can have meditation or affirmations in place to strengthen how you react in a situation. You can have triggers to be more calm, which again you can practice. but will be taught by a therapist. So yes, for anger management, this is a wonderful therapy that you can try out.
Right,
So,
right.
yes.
So the affirmations basically will follow, right? It first starts
Yeah,
with a proper hypnotherapy session, and affirmations and meditation will be more of a mindfulness technique that they can follow later, right?
later. The main thing
Right.
is to understand why. Why do you use it as a coping mechanism, as a defense
Great.
mechanism?
Right, right. Soumya, so we have 1 minute left. Just before we go off, quickly, in just 1 minute, I want you to give them a takeaway with why is hypnotherapy an expensive therapy? Yeah, just that, and we are going to close it.
So, why is it an expensive therapy, or for any actually? One thing is, in India, we don't consider mental health as anything important that you need to do. And
Okay, so I'm just quickly going to sum it up before we give this a closure. And the last part of it, which just went off, we were talking about why hypnotherapy is one of the most expensive. I wouldn't say one of the expensive, but yeah, compared to the other therapies that we do when it comes to mental health, hypnotherapy, yes, is a little on the higher side, right? And so there are a lot of these questions which come up for why is hypnotherapy expensive. I'm still waiting for Sowmiya to come up to answer that question. If she doesn't, then I will quickly give you a takeaway with that. So, all right. Yeah, hi, people. Thank you for joining, but we are just giving it a summation, and I'm waiting for Soumya to come over to answer that question of why is hypnotherapy an expensive therapy. And yeah, we have Soumya. Soumya, you have to join. Yes, there she goes. Waiting for Soumya to join. Yeah, quickly. So there she is. Yes, great. So Soumya, we are going to sum it up quickly. You were saying something about why is it expensive as a therapy?
um, for its perspective, okay,
Hmm.
like in India, you don't really consider mental health as something which is important or necessary, or there's so many stigmas attached to it. Over that, it feels like just talking, which you do even with your friends and relatives and everything. So why are you paying for something like this? There is nothing tangible you take away home either.
Right.
But you are going to a trained professional who will
Right.
help you seek, who is non-judgmental, will help you seek and understand yourself better. And all these things are there. And you are willing to invest, say, suppose, 15,000 in a pair of shoes. What is investing couple of thousands in your own mental well-being? This is a gift that you can
Absolutely.
give yourself, and it will last a lifetime. There's no
Absolutely.
expiry date on that.
Right. Great. So in do you want to just give it short closure? If you have to just revise and put it into one capsule, like whatever we spoke about, and then maybe I'll give it a formal closure. Anything that you want to come up right now?
Just one thing that do try out at least a session, because you will not understand how it works unless you try it. How much ever we talk about it, how much ever we try to explain it. When you experience a single session, you will find out how is it different, how are you benefiting even with one session, what can you take home. So at least one session to
Right.
start off with, because everyone has something that they would probably want to be better at, or want to improve, or resolve some issue or something. So pick
Right.
something, go visit someone who you're comfortable with, but experience it to actually understand it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Great. On that note, Soumya, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving us that insight, a much needed insight on hypnotherapy. And also, I hope that has helped our viewers today to a great extent on what hypnotherapy is not about. Because we have a lot of these misconceptions that we generally hold towards hypnotherapy. I hope this has given you some clarity. But as Soumya has put it across, it's very important that you experience it, because that is how you will really, understand how this process works. And trust me, not as a therapist, but let me talk as a client. I think it has been a beautiful experience for me as a client first, and then becoming a therapist. So you should, at least once in a lifetime, you should, it is that it's worth it experiencing it on your own personal level, right? So on that note, let me also thank each one of you who joined us today. So I am having a lot of people joining in right now, so we are done with the session actually, and we will definitely come back soon with another round of InstaLive, maybe on EFT, as someone had put it across today. Till then, please look after yourself, stay safe, sound, follow all the regulations the government has implemented right now. Take care of your physical health as well as mental health, right? So on that note, bye-bye, and we'll see you soon. Yeah,
Thanks, Shambhavi. It was beautiful. Thank you.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.